Hello everyone, I'm Opinionated and I like offensive jokes. Luckily for me, there's a lot more outright lies and misinformation about the PC that I can debunk, so let's get right into it. So when taking a very superficial look, the PC seems indeed more expensive than a console. But that's only when buying the actual machine. There are a lot of costs associated with the consoles that might make this difference a lot smaller than it seems at first. Gaming PCs can cost thousands of dollars. They can go well into 5-digit prices if you want to pay that much. And here's the thing, it's if you want to pay that much. Not that you have to, you can. It's a choice that you have. And knowing all console peasants, that's a bad. I mean, being able to spend as much as you want or as little as you want to get whatever amount of performance you want is apparently not good or something? I don't know. I mean, just typing in console killer PC into YouTube will reveal lots of results of PCs that cost about as much as a console but still outperform them. But a lot of enthusiasts like to spend more on their machines. It's like people spending more on a car. I mean, obviously you can get a functioning car for a lot less than many people spend, but that doesn't change the fact that they spend as much as they do. Sony recently released the PS4 Pro, which is basically the same idea. Some people get to spend a bit more to get some more performance out of it, but if you don't need that, you can go with the base model. Difference between that and the PC being that the PC is infinitely scalable. Compared to the two different PS4 versions, you have almost infinite versions of PCs you can get. It's a personal computer, you can customize it to your personal liking. Now add to that the fact that you can just slap a graphics card in an already existing computer, and nowadays most people do have a computer, you get a decent gaming rig for not that much. Much of what makes gaming PCs as expensive as they are is, for example, the cooling solution, which doesn't really help the performance all that much, but it's keeping the components cool and the system quiet. And cooler components means their lifespan increases. Some like to invest in wicked fast storage solutions such as M.2 SSDs. They're great, they're super awesome, but they don't impact the actual game's performance. They just make them start faster and make your system start faster. So when you break it down to the essentials, a gaming PC isn't all that expensive. Many of those expenses are just not mandatory. And especially if you don't want the highest settings or FPS or whatever, you can just go with a low spec PC and you can still play most of the games. In terms of raw firepower, it really doesn't take a lot to outperform a console. So assuming you've got a PC and that PC isn't 15 years old, you can get a GTX 1050 or 1050 Ti for $100 or $150 respectively and be done with it. This thing completely destroys any console out there. And it's very moderate in terms of price, size and power consumption. So if I had the choice between a console that'll run me several $100s depending on its age, or an upgrade for $100 that'll be able to destroy those consoles and dance on their graves, I know what I'd pick. Now, if the price difference wasn't negligible enough for you now, look at those great subscriptions you can get for your consoles. That PlayStation Network Plus, Xbox Live Gold, whatever it's called stuff, where you pay to access the internet, where you pay for free games, where you pay to then pay less for games, that stuff. Playing online multiplayer on the PC is free. As long as you've got an internet connection that works, you can play online multiplayer. Great, isn't it? Why do they charge money for that on the console? Well, because they can and because people actually pay that. Now some would make the argument that hey, you get those free games and you get some exclusive discounts for other games. And yeah, you do. But you can't choose those games. And you can't play those games after your subscription has ended. And also, paying a monthly subscription isn't exactly what I'd call free. And isn't it kind of a scummy thing to do by Microsoft and Sony and now apparently Nintendo as well to purposefully lock you out of the online service just so that you have to pay to access it? This alone is a reason for me not to buy that shit. I mean, they're just being huge dicks to everybody and everybody's like, yeah, I don't care. And you can't choose to just get the online access if that's all you want. If you don't care for those free games that they just choose for you, and if you don't care about the discounts they give you on some retarded games in their store, then you still have to get that. You still have to get the whole package. You can't choose the individual components. That's just a rip-off. Why isn't every single console gamer super annoyed about this? Why do people still purchase this rip-off? On a side note, you can get a monthly subscription of games if you want to on the PC. It's called Humble Monthly. And it's probably got better value than whatever you get on any console. Especially because you can cancel any time and you keep every game you got. Looking at the prices of games, you'll also see that many PC games are way cheaper than what you'd pay for the console equivalent. Which is kind of a punch in the face considering how bad the console games look in comparison to the PC. I mean, especially if those games are several years old, you'll get insane deals. I mean, Just Cause 3 was released in 2015 and you get it for $12 now? I mean, that might just be a current sale, but we have that stuff all the time on Steam, Humble Bundle, GOG, you name it. You get sales everywhere all the time. A high percentage of the price of console games is usually the method of distribution, which is physical media, most of the time. And in the end, you'll pay for manufacturing of discs, you'll pay for the shipping. That all adds to the price and makes it way less attractive than PC purchases, which are usually handled through online platforms such as Steam. And now physical media obviously have their advantage. You can just throw in the disc, launch the game and be happy, right? Well, kinda, because nowadays there's a day one patch to every single game you get, so get the game, download the patch, hope it's done within the hour, and then you can start playing. And what happens if you break that disc at some point? Well, you're certainly not getting a refund, and you're certainly not getting a new copy. So unless you get the game actually installed on your machine, which defeats the point of physical media, you're kinda screwed. And I don't think you'll find enough things to break so that you can't access your games you purchased on Steam, Origin or whatever in the future. Obviously, when you have a broken PC you can't play any games, but that's a given with any console as well. And I myself don't really like having to switch out the game disc if I want to play a different game. Being part of the glorious PC Master Race, I can just close a game and start another one right away. No time wasted, and I don't even have to get up. That's just so comfortable. So this and much more leads me to the conclusion that PC gaming is objectively superior. It's not a matter of opinion anymore, it's a matter of fact. You can pay as little or as much as you want for your machine, you don't get fucked out of things that are free in other places, and the physical media, that's a matter of opinion. I'll grant you that. That can be debated about, that can be your choice. But if that's the only thing vouching for your platform, that's a pretty weak argument. And I'd think it over a couple of times before I'd start a flame war based on that. Now if you have any opinions or insults or anything, just throw them down in the comments, I don't care. I care greatly, give me your attention. So I'll see you next time. There's a lot more to talk about.